Today we're doing something very different on Boot Wizard Boot Reviews because, as you can see, I'm not alone. I have with me Andrew from the Lockhart boot blog. This man has flown thousands and thousands of miles from Japan to here to talk to me about these. Okay, he didn't fly all that way just to talk to me about a pair of Adler boots, but you know what? We might as well use him while he's here. So before we jump into the Adlers, Andrew, from the Lockhart boot blog, tell us a bit about yourself, your blog, and why you're here.
So, I'm actually just vacationing in England and Ireland, and I thought I would stop by and see the lovely Boot Wizard. And I'm Lockhart Boot Blog, as previously mentioned, and I've been blogging for about 4 years now, 5 years now. And I'm based in Japan, so I do lots of Japanese boot reviews, including these lovely things right here. And you can find me at lockhartbootblog.com, and same on Instagram as well.
This is the Adler Yatagarasu, and I know very little about the boot, and I know very little about the brand. The Boot Wizard knows nothing. But thankfully, this guy here knows everything, so I'm just going to grill him until we know. And Adler's fairly small brand that a lot of you might not know, so who are they? Who are Adler?
Adler are a very small Japanese boutique football boot company. They started in 1955. They're based right outside of Nara in central Japan. And they originally used to make sports shoes of all sorts, but they kind of, since the early 2000s, they focused mostly on football boots. And they had a relaunch a couple of years ago to kind of redo everything and bring the brand to a broader market, so to speak.
You say small. Like, you have told me this before, so I actually do know the answer to this. But, like, how small? How many people are we talking?
I won't give an exact amount, but less than 20.
So less than 20 people working on these boutique football boots, which you have told me on many occasions are incredible.
Yeah.
So we'll start with why they're incredible, and I suppose the upper is the logical place to start. These are leather. Yes, there's a leather boot inside the Boot Wizard boot room. Why is this leather kind of any better from any other leather boot that I can go out and get?
So it's a handmade kangaroo leather. Everything's stitched together at their factory. It's made in really, really small batches to start with. They don't do any mass manufacturing of any sort. If you go to their website right now, they're probably sold out. Check back every day. They're reloading sizes as we go. But yeah, I mean, you just see how soft this leather is, especially under this camera right here. And this is a brand new pair. It's totally unworn, and this is just fresh out of the box. And it's just ridiculous how soft this leather is. Some of the softest, if not the softest, I've come across in the marketplace from a brand new pair of boots.
So with it obviously being soft, does that also mean it's overly thin? How does that affect the touch on the ball? And of course, we've got a lot of stitching here.
Yeah.
Does that kind of give it enough structure? It's just, I always have questions about any upper that's too soft.
Yeah.
Is that going to affect the structure? Are the boots going to overstretch even?
So I actually have a black pair of these that I've had since they did the relaunch in September of 2022, and I haven't had any overstretching or anything. The shape stays pretty good. It will stretch your foot, but I have not experienced any overstretching, so to speak. The leather itself, it's interesting because it's kind of like a Goldilocks. It's not too thick. It's not too thin.
It's just right.
It's just right. And you can kind of see my finger and even my fingernail poking through there a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's just got just the perfect amount where you get a nice barefoot touch on the ball, but you don't feel like you're playing in like combat boots or anything. It's just, I would say, a little bit thinner than something you might find from other Japanese brands, but it's still just, I mean, yeah, look at the damn thing. It's top notch.
Yeah, like the softness is insane. Like, you handed me these, I could not believe they were unworn.
Yeah.
Like, these are broken in. I thought you'd been wearing these for a good while, to be honest,
Yeah.
and just done an excellent job of cleaning them.
Yeah.
But they're pretty great. And obviously, like you say, it's the Goldilocks effect.
Yeah.
What does that do for your touch on the ball, I suppose? Like, are you barefoot, or is it more traditional leather? What would you compare it to?
I would say it's closer to a barefoot feeling rather than more traditional leather. obviously there's other aspects of the boot that make it less traditional, which we'll go into in a bit. But I would say you'll still get that nice classy touch. It's like soft touch on the ball, but it's still just a bit thinner and a bit more like a sock leather boot in a way. It's just got a very thin feel, but it's not clunky in the slightest. It's very, very smooth touch on the ball, very close to the foot.
It doesn't look clunky to me, let's say that much. Like a lot of leather boots, even synthetic leather boots, I find can look very clunky. They look a bit out of shape. They look like they were made 30 years ago, and they're going to be little bricks on my feet. These absolutely do not. And I think a big reason for that is the way that the lacing system runs. It runs really deep down the boot, which I think is a huge plus and gives a classic leather boot a modern feel for me. And that, I assume, is going to help the lockdown.
Yeah, the lockdown's excellent in these. You can not just take my word for it, but other people I've come across, including name drop here, Boot Hype, friends in Singapore, they found it some of the best lockdown they found in a leather boot in a long time. And I'm not going to disagree with them. I love the lockdown in this boot. I especially love the extra little lace hole right here, which for those in the know, you can do a runner's knot, or if you're nuts like me, you just lace it up and just go super tight on the ankle. But it is great for a runner's knot, and you can see, again, that zigzag design down the side there does a great job of helping keep the foot locked into the boot itself.
Nice. And then how does that apply to the heel? Do you get the lockdown, that same feeling in the heel? Obviously, you put the runner's loop in, you can push your whole heel back, and there seems to be, for me at least, a good amount of padding. It's, again, leather boots, it's Goldilocks, right? So sometimes leather boots, you get this huge amount of padding in the back. The new Copa Pure, for example, there's a massive amount of padding there. And then others, like the Stadio that's behind you there, they have zero padding. It's just like really traditional. These have some padding without being crazy. So is that all part of the lockdown, or is that more of a comfort thing?
It's little column A, little column B.
Okay.
So it does help with the lockdown, but it's also there for comfort. I would say this is not going to be as thick as some other, like the Copa Pure you mentioned, definitely has a bit more to it, but I actually prefer it like this, where it's not, I don't know, I think sometimes with some boots, they like overdo the cushioning, and then obviously other brands sometimes
underdo the cushioning.
Way underdo the cushioning, So you get a nice good amount right here in the heel, which, I was very surprised. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I did. I thought, for instance, the Mizuno Morelia 2 would still be my top fitting heel, but surprisingly, I prefer the heel on these. And I think that says a lot to the work Adler has done in actually putting a good heel fit. If you've read my blog, I am very, very, very picky about the heels and boots. So yeah, this definitely gets a way above average pass for me.
Okay, so we've got above average heel, and it is, again, it's a tighter heel than I would expect on a classic leather boot, but I keep calling it classic leather, but it's not really. Like, there's classic leather elements here, like the leather itself, but there's so many modern innovations.
Yes.
And one in particular, for me at least, that really stands out that I wouldn't expect to be getting is this.
Yes. So
tell me about this little wonder that's made me very happy.
So this thing right here is a material called Karvo. It's very popular on a lot of Japanese boots. It has properties similar to carbon fiber, but it's actually more durable and it's cheaper to use. But you still get just ridiculous snapback. And considering this is a full kangaroo leather boot, I mean, it's awesome. Like, my black pair has not worn down at all over the past year or so, and these are still just ridiculously snappy.
I'm just randomly reaching for boots behind me here because, again, I haven't tried these, and this is pretty much my first time getting my hands on them. And I've just seen Andrew do this and watch them spring back like they're some kind of, like, they remind me of like an Adidas speed, like that kind of style. And then just behind me, I have the Phantom GT, and it's not the same.
Yeah.
Like, this is, like, there's so much more flexibility, and that's a lot. It's okay, but the difference. Look at that.
It's ridiculous for
Insane. On a leather boot.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Is this like, again, so Andrew's also brought me a pair of boots to try. I have the Yamatokyo, which is the synthetic leather Adler. Is that in the Yamatokyo as well?
It is in the Yamatokyo, but there is a difference. The Yamatokyo doesn't have a midfoot shank. Now, the midfoot shank helps keep the middle of the boot more secure, so it's harder to bend through the middle.
Again, let's do a demonstration. Hold on, that's me trying to bend the Adler through the middle. Let's bend the GX.
Yeah, well,
I can literally bend the GX in the middle. So, like...
Don't make me rant about the GX.
Like, okay, I am going to, like, we can rant a little bit, because this is a great boot. The upper, the grip knit upper, is actually very good.
Yeah.
This is not as good as every single colorway selling out immediately once it gets on the shelves. It's good. It's just not that good, right?
Yeah.
Like, everyone's getting very excited for... it's all right.
Hey, it's going to be an Adler review. We're just going to drop a rant of the GX in the middle of it.
That seems like a good idea to me. It was in the background.
Perfect.
Anyway, where were we? Back to the Adler. So we spoke about the Karvo and the midfoot shank. So what do you want to talk about next? Do you want to talk about the multiple insoles?
Yes.
Or do you want to talk about the outsole?
So we'll talk about the multiple insoles first. One of the things they do is Adler have teamed up with a company called ReaLine, and they're a Japanese company that helps design insoles for sports footwear. If you can kind of see, it's kind of hard to make out on the camera sometimes. There's a nice raise right here. And you're thinking, okay, why is the raise right here not, and it's still pronounced in the arch, but it's not here as much. So what this does is it helps push up in the middle of your foot. So it raises the middle of your foot. And according to their science, it says, well, it works. They say that it will help make your shot stronger and kind of like make your passes firmer and just overall help with the comfort and support in the boot, which again, for a lot of classic leather boots that have super thin insoles that don't come with a lot of support, this is a huge win for me. And especially having a little bit in the heel as well to give your heel a little bit of extra comfort and support. That's also a big thing for me. I rant about heels constantly. I have very sensitive heels, so I'm going to notice a difference whenever a brand includes something extra.
Yeah, like that heel section is actually really nice. That little kind of like hole there that's going to capture your heel. And the idea is that, so the way that sits is supposed to help you with your shot and passing.
Yeah. So it's supposed to make everything a bit more firmer. Your shots are supposed to be a little bit harder. So instead of taking like a power boot, like, I don't know, approach to it, it's rather focusing on how the foot sits itself and allows the foot to kind of sit up a bit higher and a bit, I would say, more in a better position.
Yeah.
And put you in a better pose when you're hitting the ball. They kind of keep you more balanced when you're actually hitting the ball, rather than a lot of boots you kind of, I would say most people, they either overpronate like this or underpronate. This kind of helps keep the foot balanced, even depending on your foot shape. It's not for everybody, but for me, it works really well.
You're also stopping your foot from moving, basically. You're allowing your foot to stay in the position it's supposed to be in to hit the ball, and it's not moving out of the way. You're not.
Thank you for being more eloquent.
You're not losing any of the power, basically, by transfer through your foot. It's going through.
Yes.
It's literally taken me you explaining that for me to clock exactly how that works. So it took me a second. Learning every day is a school day. And this also has I assume a synthetic suede lining, which is very nice. And I will admit is nicer than the mesh liner on the traditional insole, which there's nothing wrong with this at all. I think this is a fine insole, especially the way it's shaped. It actually has some shape rather than just being a flat piece of foam. But when you do a comparison, if you like the feel of this, I think this is kind of a no-brainer to go with the ReaLine.
This is what I wear in all my Adler boots. I understand some people prefer this to be lower to the ground, which is, again, this isn't for everybody, but it's definitely worth giving a shot. And I think it's one of the unique features that Adler has that a lot of other brands don't have.
And it comes with the boots.
Yes,
So
it comes with the boots. It's not extra.
It's not an extra. Like, you might as well give it a shot. Like,
Yeah.
Does it affect the fit at all? Like, does it kind of make the boot any tighter?
It makes it a little bit tighter, but I've noticed over time it's a full kangaroo leather upper. Your foot's gonna, or not your foot, the boot will adjust to your foot.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it? If your foot adjusted to like the boots and had it the other way around.
Do you want me to rant about the Vapor 13?
No. So again, just to go off on a small tangent, I love the Vapor 13. I did many reviews about how it's great. Everybody I know in the entire world thinks the Vapor 13 is the best thing that's ever happened. If you want to read the thing that maybe hurt me the most in my life, you go on to the Lockhart boot blog and read his review of the Vapor 13, where he essentially says it's a piece of trash. Actually, it's not a piece of trash. It's nice. It's not a piece of trash. Comments. Vapor 13. Yay or nay? I'm winning that one.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, let's get the scales out. Boom. Show me some weight. What are we on the weight? Bearing in mind, full kangaroo leather upper, extra carbon fiber, not carbon fiber, sorry, Karvo insole. You got a midfoot shank. It's very stable. What's the weight?
Okay. Just to be fair, these are a size 7 US. So we're looking at 7.9 ounces, about 225 grams.
225 grams for a full kangaroo leather upper. That's light. Like, okay, we're not on like sub 200 grams speed boot light.
No.
But for a leather boot, that's light. It's very light.
It's very light.
And you said size 7 US.
Yes.
Now, I am the same size foot as you, and I'm a size 8 US.
Yes.
Please do explain. Why are these a size 7 US?
Okay. They do run about a size long. My normal size is actually an 8.5 in most Nike boots, 8 in Adidas, and I have been wearing 7.5 in these. I did decide to go down to a 7 because I am a madman who likes to have his boots tight. So tight that my toes curl and then stretch them out. But you may not be a madman, but I do recommend you go down a full size.
Okay, so recommendation is a full size for the best fit. However, if you're a little bit unsure, half size.
Yeah, if you're a little bit unsure, half size is fine, especially if you try the Yamatokyo or the Jarumakan. But the Horenzo and the Yatagarasu, like we have here, definitely go that whole size down. Or half if you're really not sure, but I've been pushing everybody to the full size down and it seems to be working pretty well.
Okay, so what I'll do is I will leave a link where you can find these down in the description and in the top pinned comment so you can actually see what we're talking about. And I'll also link all of Andrew's reviews for each of the Adler boots. So you'll be able to kind of check on each one. And if you want to double check the sizing on those, then do click there as well. Okay, and the only thing that we haven't really spoken of, I suppose, is durability. And we haven't spoken much about the outsole, which is this more traditional conical style pattern. Now, I bring up durability and the outsole together because you can see we have a fully stitched outsole.
Yeah, so they do hand stitch the outsole. You can actually see where the stitch got cut right here. When they kind of finished the stitching. The Karvo is also stitched to the outsole, and I have had zero issues with the stitching at all. I have basically stopped caring for my black pair, and they're still in one piece. This is going to be the same thing. Although they're white, I'm going to I'll attempt to keep them clean. We'll see how well that goes. But the other thing about the outsole, yes, it's a traditional stud pattern. In fact, in Japan, they call this like a Mount Fuji style because it kind of looks like Mount Fuji rising up. And that helps displace a lot of the pressure on the bottom of the foot, which, if you don't know, round studs actually push more pressure than bladed studs. That's why bladed studs tend to be taller than rounded studs. But that's just besides the point. Also, real quickly, if you can see how it's kind of cut like this. So a lot of the Brazilian players back in the 80s liked having to be able to touch the ball with the toe like this and roll it around and do tricks like that. So a lot of Japanese brands still actually do that. Puma does it for the Para Mexico, which is still available in Japan, but not overseas, unfortunately. So that's why you'll see this kind of like angled stud at the front. It's not really to get more grip when sprinting. It's really more to like have a nicer touch on the ball.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There you go. Fun fact. So this is like, what Brighton need to do is they need to put all of their defenders
basically
in this, because they spend half their lives with their foot on the ball, rolling it from side to side to draw defenders in. So all the Brighton defenders need to be wearing Adlers.
And if you are a Brighton defender, contact me.
Yeah, Brighton defenders, because I'm sure there's loads of you watching Boot Wizard. Feel free.
There's only like, what, 10 of them?
Max.
Surely.
At least one of you.
Yeah.
Somebody knows a Brighton defender. Let's give us a shout.
Somebody who knows the hairdresser of a Brighton defender.
Or somebody who knows the hairdresser and the goldfish of the Brighton defender.
I think goldfish is always the key.
Too far? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we've gone through handcrafted Japanese leather. We have a Karvo insert. We've got an incredible outsole. We've spoken about quality, durability, and essentially, in case you haven't noticed, I'm very impressed with these. Andrew absolutely loves these. And how much are they?
They're about 165 euros.
They're 165 euros.
Obviously, that doesn't include the shipping, but
even so, like we don't really worry too much about the shipping when we're discussing the price, because it depends where you live, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
Like somebody might be in Japan right now, they might be getting the shipping very cheap. So for comparison, just for fun, let's take another shot of the GX, shall we?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
They're like 260, 270 euros.
And they are not handmade.
These are 100 euros cheaper.
Yeah, it's
than
crazy.
A pair of GX, and they don't bend in the middle for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Too many shots of the GX? Not enough?
No, we can keep going.
Keep going.
Focus.
Focus on the Adler.
Focus on the Adler.
So,
focus on the positive.
165 euros. If you do want a pair, get in touch with you.
Yeah, get in touch with me. You can also go to shop.adlerjapan.en, and that will take you the English version of the website.
That.
I have practiced that. I've written it a lot. People look at the website, and obviously it's kind of scary because it's in Japanese at first, but there is an English version. You can scroll down to the bottom, or you can scroll up the top. There's normally a link for the English.
So there is an English website. If you're scared of Japanese websites, then contact Andrew.
Yeah.
Again, details.
I'll help you out.
I'll put all the details down there at Lockhartbootblog. I keep wanting to say Guardian Bootblog.
Yeah. No longer.
And Andrew changed the name of his blog fairly recently. It makes a lot of sense, but it still confuses me. So if you just be careful. So yes, I'll put all those details down. Contact him. Instagram.
Yep.
Instagram is the best place to do that. And you'll be able to pick yourself up a lovely pair of Adlers. Now, not only do we have these, which we have been testing, we are also going to test a pair of the Yamatokyos, which I have failed to bring with me to this table, but they will magically appear on the screen now. And these are the synthetic version of the Adler lineup.
Yes.
And I'm very excited to try them. And if you get subscribed to Boot Wizard and hit the like button, they will appear on the channel for you too. I think that's all from me here. I think that's all for you.
Yeah, I think that's it for me.
Excellent. That's all from us. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you soon.
See ya.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Very successful. Loved that.
That was good.
That went very well. You're a natural.
Come on, but I was just following your lead.